welcome to Dilemmas with Jess Ellis, our second special. And it is a Mother's Day special. And what person could I ask to do the Mother's Day special other than my own mum? It's Maria Ellis.
That's right, Maria Ellis doing the Mother's Day special. Thank you, Jess.
So, Mum, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Right, I'm
If
Maria.
you hear anything in the background, by the way, as well, it might be Michael or it might be my dad. Kind of being the same as Michael, which is weird.
Yes.
Grunting.
Double trouble.
Saying kind of words that you can't make out.
Not speaking properly.
And laughing like that.
Laughing.
There we go.
Right, my name's Maria Ellis, and
You haven't got a middle name, have you? Because you thought you were going to die.
I'm an identical twin, and was 7 weeks premature, and I only weighed £3.4. And so they told my mum I was going to die. But I didn't, so I'm here to tell the tale.
Yeah, but you don't have a middle name.
I
So you
don't.
just give me 55 middle names.
That's right, Jessica Louise, Annie Ellis,
Well, Ellen as well.
and Ellen.
Jessica Louise, Annie Ellen Ellis.
That's correct. So I'm obviously mum to the wonderful Jess Ellis. I retired last March, and I was a teaching assistant with special educational needs for the last 27 years.
Yeah, so it was at my primary school, wasn't it?
It was St Joseph's in Reddish, Stockport. That's where Jess was brought up.
And you're married to my dad,
That's right.
Tom Ellis,
Tom Ellis.
who's doing a crossword in the back.
That's
That's
right.
like, again, a version of FIFA, but an old person's.
Well, that's right. Well, we met about 46 years ago watching Manchester City in Carlisle, of all places. And we were been married now for nearly 42 years.
Oh, and you know what? I forgot to ask you this, but we do ask some of our guests this. But as this is a Mother's Day special, do you have a particular dilemma of your own that you've come across of being a mum?
I think when you're a mum that works in school where your daughter goes, it was always a little bit hard because you weren't allowed to get involved if there was an incident involving you.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to step away from that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be quite, not troublesome, but you like to stand your ground. And, sometimes it was a bit hard to, keep away from it. But no, not really.
Any other dilemmas that you came across with me as a child, being my mum?
Well, you always had like an impetuous streak. And I always remember once you were about nearly 5 and I asked you to do something and you said no. And I said, well, no, come on, you need to do this. So you said, I'm leaving home. I said, are you? So you said yes. So you stomped up the stairs and I thought, well, she'd been gone about 5 minutes. And you came down with a backpack. I said, what have you got in your backpack? You said, one pair of knickers,
Always safe.
a toothbrush and a packet of crisps. And
I mean, that sounds like a wild weekend for me.
it does, yeah. So you stomped off
It
down.
sounds like my 20s.
You stomped off down the garden path, and I kept a close eye on you. And then you waited near the garage, and you must have thought she'll come after me. But I thought, no, I'll teach her a lesson. After about 10 minutes, you came back in. You said, I'm not running away now because I'm hungry.
What, did he eat the crisps?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And then you wanted your dinner, so you've forgotten all about why you got cross.
Food is life for me. Also, here's a dilemma for you. I'm just thinking about you talking about working in the same school as me. Do you remember when the teachers had set a project to us to make a picture of our mums, but cut pictures?
Oh, I do remember this.
To make the pictures, you had to cut pictures out of a catalogue.
That made you feel that this was your mum.
Yeah.
And the reception teacher said to me, Maria, I think you better have a look at this. And Jessica had put a picture of my head with me in suspenders, stockings and bras. And she'd written underneath, this is my mum. I never lived that down.
Well, if you're going to walk around the house like that. So, we've come to...
Oh, the bit I'm dreading. The horrible beans.
It's not making the same noise because we've got a new jar which my dad bought for me because he heard Carla's episode, where Carla Chrome's episode, where she said, like, there's how long has that bowl been there for? There's no lid on it. But yeah, here is a bowl of treats for you. Now you know the rules.
I do. unfortunately.
And you know the new rule?
I do, that I've got to swallow it.
Yeah.
But my gag reflex is even worse than yours. So I tell viewers
Mum,
now, if I'm going
too
to
much
be
detail.
sick... Right.
Which one are you going for?
Yellow.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
I don't like the sound of that. Are you going, oh, okay.
Right, I've gone for a red one. So, yours is either lemon or rotten cheese, and mine is strawberry or fresh blood. But like Daisy coined the phrase, it's not fresh blood, it's fresh arse. So after 3, 1, 2, 3. Strawberry. Mum, you'd know by now.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, lemon?
Yeah, lemon.
Okay, we go again.
I thought we did it at the end.
No, we'll do it again. Right, I'm going for cola or cat food. Right, yours is watermelon or snot.
Oh, God.
Right, you ready? Right, put your drink away because you can't have you have to chew it first. Right, 1, 2, 3, go.
Mine's
Oh, God. Oh, my God. I can't. I'm going to have to swallow. Oh. Honestly, imagine sewage. That smell of sewage when you're in a car and you go, has someone farted? And then you're like, no, it's a field. Imagine that, but swallowing it.
I'm just glad it wasn't me.
Are you ready for our dilemma?
I'm ready.
This is Laura, 39, from Carlisle.
Oh, that's where me and your dad met, Carlisle.
Oh, there you go. It's a sign. We can help you, Laura. I had my daughter quite young for modern standards, and I've never had any more children. So for 17 years, she's been my world. Her dad hasn't been around for a long time. I love her more than anything, but she is so lazy. She didn't want to carry on at school, so left last summer, but she hasn't even tried to get a job. To be honest, now she's nearly an adult, a bit of help with the rent would be nice, but she hasn't got the motivation to do anything. What do I do?
Right, well, I think first of all, the mum needs to talk to her and say, look, at the moment, things are tough. Tell it as it is and just say, if you want to continue living here.
Well, I don't even think that element of it's tough should be even part of it. It should just be part of I was so excited to get a job. I remember getting my job at JD Sports.
I know you were.
And JD Sports paid me £3.16 an hour.
And you were 16 when you got that job.
Yeah, £3.16 an hour. And yes, I'm nearly 32. And by the time this comes out, I'll be 32. But it's not like that was years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's not like back in the olden days. And I remember being so excited. And I only work weekends. But just having that bit of money and independence, or being able to go, oh, I'll get a present for you or dad, or get some food or whatever. And I loved working.
Yes, but the trouble is the youth of today think everything falls in the lap. And that's why you've got to get tough, because you've got to say, I'm sorry, you're eating the meals, you're not paying anything towards the bills. I'm not saying you have to give much. I mean, when you've got a part-time job, you don't earn a lot. But you've got to say, I'm sorry, but you've got to learn.
I think it runs deeper than the money as well. There's nothing more unattractive than someone that's not got any kind of get up and go, and that doesn't have to necessarily, you don't have to be a brain surgeon, you don't have to, but just to have a passion, having a passion about your corner shop job, taking pride in something, having a direction, a purpose, I think is so important. And especially for your older life, I mean, it's true what you're saying about our generation. We've spoke about this with friends before, that it's really great that people are told that they can do whatever they want and they can dream big and they can do that. But I do feel like they do wait for things to come for them. And I think that comes from, as well, things like reality shows and Love Island and Instagram, where people
earn money very quickly. They earn a lot of money. But life's not like that.
No.
But and you had the incentive to want to do it.
Yeah.
And like you said yourself, you were really happy that you got this job and you were full of pride about it. Nowadays, you want it on a plate.
Yeah.
No, she's got to get tough with her.
Yeah, definitely. I think to myself, she's obviously worked really hard as a single mom, and she was a young mom. And I hate to be morbid, but things that not everyone's there all the time, and no one's going to be there for all of your life. And
the thing is, if she doesn't learn when she's young that you need to earn some money to get yourself through life, then she's going to.
But also,
struggle.
It's about socializing with other people. It's about, you know, when you go to school, you're with a very certain type of people. Like, I know that when I went to drama school and I worked in different jobs and stuff, I met such a varied amount of people that changed me as a person and made me a different person and made my outlook on life completely different. Now, if you're not mingling with any people like that or any different people, your life perspective is going to be very closed.
I mean, parents don't mind helping the children when they need help, but they've got to help themselves first. And
yeah, you've helped me so much throughout, because obviously my acting career, it's been hard, it's been tough, it's been great at times, it's been tough at times, but you've helped me. But I don't think you would have helped me if you didn't know how hard I worked.
Exactly. I mean, like I always say to you, if I had 20p left in my purse, it'd be yours.
Yeah.
But that's mutual, because you've got the respect for me as I have for you.
And I've done that for you. Like,
exactly.
I've done things.
Lots of things for us.
But also, like, I love that. Like, I love the fact that my job made sure that we could have experiences and memories that would last a lifetime. And that could go from, you know, going on an extravagant holiday or whatever, or could just go from taking you round Hollyoaks set to meet everyone.
Well, that's right. And, you know, you've taken us to New York, Paris, Rome. Absolutely wonderful. And you kept saying it's payback time, but it's both ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
So she's got to learn, tell her daughter to get a move on and get herself sorted.
Yeah. I just find laziness so unattractive in a person.
And if you don't stop it early on, it will continue. And then she'll be a lazy 26-year-old, 27-year-old with no hope of getting a proper job.
And like we say, if people aren't always around, then you're stuck. I've seen people like that, and I think to myself, they get themselves in trouble or they get themselves in certain positions, and I think to myself, do you know what, actually, that is your parents' fault.
Yeah, I agree.
I know so many people that have never had to fend for themselves, never had to do anything, cook any meals, pay any bills, and I think that it's ridiculous.
Well, I remember you saying once about some of your friends that didn't have boundaries, and you sometimes used to resent the boundaries, but you said to them one day, if you don't have boundaries, you don't learn.
Do you know what? Like, there isn't a question of what to do here.
No.
You need to give her... I would give her like some set times and ultimatums. I would say, right, okay, in the next month, I want you to have applied for 5 jobs. And okay, all right, then if you don't know what to do, let's sit down, let's get on the internet, give me a list of things that you find interesting. Do you find makeup interesting? Do you find plastering interesting? What do you find interesting? Let's go and find a local college course and let's see if we can get an apprenticeship. You know, there's lots of things where you can go to college and earn money at the same time. I would say, right, okay, in this next month, we're going to figure out what you want to do and if you want to try out some courses. Yeah. And by the month after, I want you to be earning rent and I want you to be paying me £20 out of that.
Well, do it together and you'll work through it.
Yeah. Be supportive, but also be tough.
Yeah.
So, Michael's come down from playing FIFA. How are you doing?
I'm hungry.
You're hungry? Well, you can have your tea after this. You've already had 2 Chicago towns. Okay. Mother's Day dilemma, anonymous, please. I am the only girl with 3 older brothers. Every year, I go above and beyond to make my mum feel special. In brackets, while being a single parent myself. And my brothers either don't get her anything or will make a gesture of flowers from a local garage. My mum seems to make a big fuss over their half gestures while I get overlooked. My dilemma is that I quit work last year to study a teaching degree. So do I just get some flowers like they would or go all out like normal?
I think she's done more than enough. And I think girls with the mums are very protective of what the mums like and what they should have. And I think boys are notorious for not really thinking.
But I've heard this, like, obviously I'm an only child, but I've got friends that the only girl or they're girls and they've got brothers. And I've heard this happen a lot of times, not just with gifts and stuff, but that the boys get overly praised for things.
They do.
From the mum, while the girl gets kind of overlooked. All right, oh yeah. And it's kind of like, oh, well, I just expect that from you. But the boys can do... can't do any wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think she's really got to have a word with the brothers and say, look, how about we get a joint present so that we can get our mum something special
together.
Then that way they're not feeling pressured in the fact that they don't really do very well by it. And I think that way they could join forces and get something nice.
Yeah, together.
But
then also, herein lies a problem with that sometimes when people do that, is that then they might just give her some money. She makes all the effort. They get all the praise again.
Yeah, but you've got the internet. Have them round one night, go online, suggest a few things. You can all join in and have a look.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, as a mother on Mother's Day, it's not about the cost of the goods.
No.
It's about the thought behind it. Even if it's something that they know the mum likes and it means something to her. If it costs £3, if it's thoughtful, it's if no thoughts behind it, which is what the flowers from the garage is. You know, you don't have to spend a lot.
No, I think at the end of the day, you're saying you're a single parent yourself, and you've quit work because you're obviously well,
she's bettering herself.
Fair play to you. Yeah. You're a single mum and you've quit work to do a teaching degree. Like, well done, like brilliant. But just be thoughtful with your gift.
Thoughtful. That's all you need.
Don't put yourself in any. Don't put yourself.
Don't go in debt. If I thought you were going in debt to get me something, I'd say I'd rather didn't have anything, because that's not what Mother's Day is about. It's about caring about your mum. And, you know, that doesn't have to cost.
That if it carries on, just have a quiet word with your mum and just say, you know, it's not about the gift. Just say, you know, sometimes I feel like I do put a bit of effort in, and I get a bit overlooked by the boys. And I think most of the time people will be like, oh, sorry, it's just because you're so brilliant. Like, I should tell you more, but I've just not realised.
Yeah, and she probably doesn't realise.
And because I've not realised... Sometimes people do things and they don't realise. So maybe if it is upsetting you and affecting you, then say something.
Just tell them and just say, come on, let's have a joint effort and let's just make something nice for our mum.
No, but I mean to tell a mum.
Oh yeah, to tell your mum, but just
it's playing
on your mind.
You don't have to be nasty about it, but it's playing on my mind that sometimes I get, you know, I put in effort in certain things and my brothers get a lot of praise and it's making me feel a bit down. And you never know what your mum's going to say. She could be mortified. She could be thinking, oh, God, sorry, I never thought, you know, that I made you feel like that.
Yeah, but if you do something together and she thinks, oh, that's lovely, it's from all of you, that might set a precedent then. Then you're not going to go through this battle every year.
Yeah.
You know, let's plan it together. And then that way, everybody's happy. Mum's happy, you're happy, and you don't feel the strain of the boys getting away with not really thinking about it.
Yeah. I know you said it's not about the cost, but what are some of the worst things I've got you for Mother's Day?
Well, I've never regarded anything as what you've got me as awful.
Oh, thanks, Mum. But there's one that springs to mind for me.
Oh, go on. Tell me.
So basically, I was going to New York to do this exchange program and they wanted us to get, they wanted us to get business cards with our headshot on. And,
oh, yes, I remember.
Yeah, and our agent's details that we could give out at this showcase afterwards. So pointless, we didn't give them to anyone. But anyway, when I went onto this website, at the end, I got sucked in by, you know, when you end something and it goes, well, what about these other products? And the other product that I got seduced by was a pen with my face on it. And I thought, a pen with my face on? I need that. Clicked on it, spent an extra £2, and then thought to myself, oh, it's Mother's Day. And then, so I give you a pen with my face on it. Do you remember that?
I do. But I loved it.
Oh, Mum!
I did. Because I just thought it made me smile. You know, like I said, cost doesn't come into it. But
What is the best Mother's Day present I got for you?
Oh, that was when you sent us to Paris and
No,
New York. No, New York
it was
first. New York first. And you gave me this card. And as I was reading it, these words kept jumping into the line. You are save these days because you are going to New York. And then there was some American dollars that fell out of the card. And that much was happening. I was like, I couldn't breathe. And I'm thinking, I'm going to New York. There's some money there. And I couldn't.
And there was Jersey Boys.
And I went to see Jersey Boys, which is one of my favourite musicals. And I just couldn't get over it. The shock was so much, but it was just a wonderful present to have, and I've never ever forgotten it.
Yeah. I mean, what would you prefer, a trip to New York or a pen with my face on?
They both have different places in my heart because they're both sentimental. They are sentimental.
You're not going to say that anything I got you is bad, are you?
No, because if you've got me something, it means you're thinking of me. Because I think, you know, like my own mum, she always used to say to me, you know, I loved everything that you bought me, but when you were born, it took 9 years to get you, as I've said to you in the past, and it was so special that we were born. And I actually, as you were born on the Sunday, the following Sunday was Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah, I always get pissed off because sometimes Mother's Day is on my actual birthday.
Because I actually had 2 Mother's Days that year because it was earlier one year. But I remember saying, I wrote my mum a card and said, if I can be as good a mum as you have been to me, I would be more than happy. And because I was in hospital, I didn't get a chance to buy her anything till I came out. And years later, when my mum died, I found it in a handbag, that card. And that's what I'm saying, little gestures you never forget. And you might laugh about the pen.
But the pen.
Yeah, I know it didn't cost much, but I just love the fact that you'd got me something. It made me laugh. And that's what presents are about.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something massive. It just means that you thought about me, and that's
But it's nice.
But
it's nice if you go to New York.
Oh, New York was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it's little things. And like I say, when I found that card, that really hit home that she'd kept it for all those years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a mum's love for a daughter, and vice versa.
Okay, Darren, 37, from Sunderland. It's so like Michael. No wonder I'm with Michael. It's like my dad. They say that you go for someone like your dad. Hi, Jess. Me and my wife have been trying for a kid for years, but it's never happened for us. She's 41 in a few months and ready to give up, but I'm not. Can I tell her I want to keep trying, or am I being selfish?
Well, the dilemma I had, it took 9 years to get you, Jess.
Miracle baby.
Miracle baby.
Miracle baby.
And I think where you have to be sensitive to if one person wants to give up. I know sometimes I thought that it would never happen. I mean, I was 35 when I had you. And when you've been trying for 9 years, it's tiring, it's emotional. And sometimes...
Also, I don't want to think of you and Dad trying to have me for 9 years.
I know, that's it. That's another thing, yes. But what you've got to be is honest. Because if you're not honest, it won't work. Because it's a very big situation when
And also,
you're trying.
like, when you had me, you had lots of problems with people because you were 35.
Yeah.
So there was lots of restrictions, like they were saying that you were too old to adopt. And
I was called an elderly primate on my nursing notes because I was 35.
But now, again, going back to me nannying, everyone was over 40 because obviously we're living in a different world. Everyone's living like people are living much longer. Women are going for their careers much more so that, you know, like me, I'm nearly 32 and, you know, that's not something that I'm ready for in my life right now. But it's not worrying me because I'm 32.
Oh, no, I mean... People are having children later, but I remember a top consultant at St Mary's where I was under. When I finally got pregnant, I was over the moon and I went to see this specialist and he said that did I want an amniocentesis, which was quite prevalent because of my age. And I said, no, whatever I'm having, I will have. And his words were, well, what you're going to do when it's abnormal on the scan? And I said, I will keep it. It's my decision. Go away. And I was so hurt that when I came to have my scan, which meant the world to me, when I saw that you were all right, I cried. And the nurse thought I'd got bad news about the scan. And it was because of what he'd said, I'd replayed over in my mind. So I feel for this man as well as the woman, but you've got to be honest and you've got to talk about it because when you're trying for a long time, 9 years was a long time for me.
Yeah. And I don't think it is being you know, it must be really hard for a man as well because obviously you're doing your part, but you're not facilitating the baby. It's not inside your body, but you want that baby just as much. But it's not like you can go, well, I'm going to do it in some other way. I do think also what I would say is I know that, you know, it's truly, utterly heartbreaking that, you know, in the end, if you couldn't conceive your own baby. But I would like to add that there are lots of children out there that need to be adopted.
There are, but it's a bizarre thing when we looked into adoption as well.
Yeah, but you looked into adoption 32 years ago. It's a much different place now.
I mean, that you were told if you were adopting, you had to forego any fertility treatment.
Yeah.
And that was
I mean,
hard.
I don't know the ins and outs of this for people listening, but I would say that there are other options as well.
There's fostering, there's lots of things, but you've got to be on the same song sheet. You've got to be honest. I know my mum used to say to me, I can't bear it every month when you'd be upset. And I said, I'll know when I have to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't, 9 years, and I got you.
And also, like, there's so many stories like this, and I hate to just be like, oh, I don't know, like a broken record or whatever, but there's so many stories where people go, we were trying for 9 years, we were trying for 10 years, 15 years, and in the end it happens. A lot of people, when they stop trying, end up having a baby.
Yeah, I mean, there is lots of different medical reasons why people can't conceive, and sometimes it is unknown. But, help each other. And the only way you can help each other is talk it through.
Yeah.
I mean, because at the end of the day, I always said to you, the nothing bigger I did in my life was to have you.
Yeah.
And I still think that.
Oh my God.
I'm going to be sentimental now, seeing as it's nearly Mother's Day.
You're going to be sentimental now. But yeah, I think that's true. You've got to be honest with each other. It's two of you in there. And also, I know you've got to be sensitive, but like, make your feelings known. If she says she wants to stop, say all the reasons that you don't want to stop. Yeah. But also look at all the other different options that you've got. There's so many ways that you can be a parent without actually having a baby. Do you know what I mean?
There is.
Ways you can do
there is, but like I say, you've got to talk about it honestly and not hide the reasons. There's no point in saying, I want to go on if you don't, because then it makes the journey even harder.
Yeah.
And for somebody that's been on that journey, talk about it.
Yeah. So, we've come to the end of our Mother's Day special. And I hope we've helped you with your dilemmas. Also, I hope you've got a good insight into mine and my mum's relationship. I know that you've got a lot of stories about what I was like as a child and what I was like as a teenager. But thank you, Mum, for doing this.
You're welcome.
And I hope that everyone listening is treating your mum. And like we said before, whether it's a pen with your face on or a trip to the Bahamas, it's a thought that counts.
Definitely.
But even though it is Mother's Day, Mum, don't think you're getting away with it because it's double dares time.
You can't give it me as a Mother's Day present that I don't have to do it.
Your Mother's Day present is not that you don't get to do it. You have to do it.
Do I
again.
only have to do one? I don't have to do two this time, do I?
No, we'll just see.
No, you're not going on till I get one.
Well, I just want you to pick one now, okay?
Right. What colour haven't I had? I've had...
You've not had a green. Get that green one.
Is it green or blue? Because I'm colourblind.
That's green, Mum.
All right, looks blue to me. Well, go on, what are you having?
Nothing, I've just retched. Go on, you can have one.
Well, if I don't retch, I'm not doing another one if I don't
from your
retch.
miracle child, happy Mother's Day. I hope it's a nice one. Yeah, she's got a nice one.
Yes!
Oh, it is a happy Mother's Day.
Yay!
So, Mum, you are a big fan of this podcast.
Oh, I love it.
You've listened to every episode. So do you know what we say at the end of the episode?
Swipe up.
Right, go
Swipe up and review.
This is so funny. That is such an old person's thing to say.
Oh, thank you.
Swipe. It's actually subscribe.
Review.
No. Subscribe, rate, review.
Subscribe, rate, review. Do it.
We got there in the end. Mum, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to Dilemmas with Jess Ellis, and we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. If you have, you'll make Bob the dog very happy if you could click subscribe, give Dilemmas a rating, and also leave a review on Apple Podcasts too. And of course, if you've got a dilemma, then get in touch via the Dilemmas socials at DilemmasJess on Instagram and Twitter. Finally, don't forget, nobody's got their shit together, and you're doing just fine. Thanks for listening.